Binkstram. Are you or were you ever a smoker? If you were, how did you quit? In their podcast on Scientology, Ross and Carrie mention the large number of Scientologists that were smoking outside the building, and I've seen videos of Sea Org members and or staff taking a smoke break. I know Hubbard smoked like a fiend, well, he was one, and dismissed it with the comment, nobody's perfect. Doesn't it seem a little disconnected that Scientology is so anti-drug but permits its members to smoke, unlike, say, the Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses, which don't allow smoking? I welcome your comments on this. For a while, I did smoke. I started smoking when I was in my early 20s, and I told myself when I started, because I was doing it really just to kind of be cool, that I wasn't going to let myself get addicted. So I never smoked a lot. I would buy a pack and it would take me 2 weeks to get through one pack. So I never really got used to it, let my body get so into it that I couldn't stop at any time, that sort of thing. I just did it because I thought it was kind of cool. And after I did it for a number of years, because I did it, into being in the Sea Org, I would use it to kind of chill, kind of calm down. And I have had a cigarette a couple times since I quit, but it's never really been a thing for me. I'm not really into cigarettes that much. They're way too expensive. I actually quit, like I quit when I landed on the RPF in 2005 because they were just too damn expensive. On the RPF, I was making like $11 or $12 a week. Like that was it. Here's your $11, and that's all you got. And so you could buy cigarettes or you could save your money and maybe buy some snacks and stuff to sort of sustain you, because there was no chance of ever going out or anything like that. You had to buy everything in the canteen on the Sea Org base. So whatever was there was what you had available to you. And I knew people who, just spent all that money on cigarettes, and they smoked like chimneys. On the RPF, they would eat for 5 minutes and then go smoke for 10, when we had our 15, 20-minute meal breaks, But I didn't. I just was like, wow, this is too expensive. I can't afford this. And cigarette prices were really going up at that point. I think while I was on the RPF back then in LA and California, they went up to $5 or $6 a pack or something, which was insane. So that's my own smoking experience. Hubbard talks in a lecture, in a St. Hill Special Briefing Course lecture in the 60s, about nicotine and how it's actually good for you. and how there's the AMA and these guys are kind of lying about nicotine and how actually your body really could use the nicotinic acid. So that was Hubbard's view on it. So he had it very, very well justified. And I heard within the Scientology world, Hubbard quit smoking in the 1970s. And I really don't know if that's true or not. I mean, you don't see any pictures of him in the 1970s or later with a cigarette in his mouth. Through the 60s and in the early years of the Sea Org, you hear him smoking in lectures. You hear him opening up the cellophane, opening up packs of cigarettes, taking a draw. He talks about cigarettes, talks about his Cools cigarettes. That's what I smoked, by the way. I smoked Cools because I thought, hey, if it was good enough for Ron, it was good enough for me. But I didn't. I had filtered cigarettes. Ron smoked unfiltered. Anyway, so he had it pretty well justified. But I heard that he had quit, right? Because the rumor line was that he quit because he knew it wasn't good for your body, right? And then, of course, the purification rundown and all that. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. I honestly don't know. But I do know that in the 70s, Hubbard ran into major medical complications with his body. So it would make a lot of sense to me if he did quit smoking. As far as Scientologists go, especially Sea Org members, they smoke. Oh yeah, absolutely. Now they smoke a lot less than they used to because the laws changed and you couldn't smoke inside. Even on a Sea Org base, you can't smoke inside. Used to be, when it wasn't California law, you could smoke wherever you wanted to. Sea Org members would be smoking indoors, outdoors, wherever. Now you have to take a break to go smoke, or you have to take a break during your meal time to go smoke, and that's the only time you get to smoke. And that really cut down a lot on Sea Org members smoking because they don't get breaks. If a Sea Org member is caught taking a break and smoking a cigarette outside of meal times, they're going to get in trouble for the most part, unless they're doing something productive in the meantime, right? They can go out and have a smoke while they're, on the phone trying to sell somebody something, or, something like that. So, or walking from one place to another on the base, you'd see guys go up and who are smokers, get up in the middle of the day and have to go run, handle this errand on the other side of the base, right? And they're smoking the whole time, all the way there, walking the long way around, just because they want to have a cigarette. So anyway, this kind of thing goes on in the Sea Org and whatnot. But as far as rules against it, there are no rules against smoking in the Sea Org, and I think it's such an accepted practice within the culture of Scientology. Some people, non-smokers, especially over time, especially since the 90s, I guess, knowing that smoking is actually bad for your body, question why other Scientologists smoke. But they also, give them room to have, freedom of choice. I mean, nobody wants to, in Scientology, it's funny. It's funny culturally if I think about it, because I was going to say, it's not like anybody wants to dictate to other people what to do. Which is kind of like, what? In Scientology, huh? But it's just about certain things. There's some things that are morally okay, and there's some things that aren't. And I think because Hubbard smoked for so long, and there isn't really evidence that he ever quit, I mean, one way or the other, maybe the rumors are true, maybe they're not. You can't really come down on somebody for doing something that Hubbard did, So I think that might be why there's not such a, smoking isn't quite anathema to as many people in Scientology as it is to the rest of the world.